All right, all right. Check microphone, check 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, everybody, and welcome to B2B Hour. This is a monthly live webcast series that we facilitate here on Auto Conversion for B2B marketing and sales professionals. That includes business leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. If that's you, you're in the right place. We do this every month. And we're glad that you're joining us. You might be live, you might be watching the recording. Either way, leave a comment, say hi, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done already. It'd be great. That way you get notified every time we hop up here. Now, today is Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. I am Ryan Girardi, your host, and I thank you for joining us and being here and taking the time out of your important and probably very busy day, but we hope to enrich, enlighten, dazzle, and your life as best we can. So, our general theme for the show is how to stay connected and engage with customers, strategic partners, and employees too. Got to keep that in mind. I think great companies always understand that being employee centric as well as customer centric, but you still need to be employee centric. And media isn't just for promoting your business and creating awareness. Marketing it's an umbrella to your whole business operation, and you need a good employee experience too. And media is useful for that. So we welcome you here. Excuse me. For all purposes, we offer a pretty unique product here on Auto Conversion to help you do these things, to help you leverage media, omni-channel, multimedia, and using conversationally driven content. So we invite you here to learn, to network, and to grow your personal brand, your professional brand, grow your network, grow your online reputation. All right, so last month our focus was on remote work and culture of being. And today we shift our focus to websites and social media and what makes these strategies a success for your business. Excuse me. Website can be essential, I think, for most businesses, but it's not necessarily a prerequisite for success. It's not like you build a website and then you achieve, greater success with that. And social media, as enticing as it is, because it's, typically free to use, that doesn't guarantee success either, let alone a viable return on your investment. So, I talk to people all the time and I wonder, why do so many businesses and business owners often feel that these two strategies are, I don't want to say necessary, but maybe why they feel that they're required or essential. They could be, they are for some businesses, but that doesn't have to be the de facto norm. And we spend thousands of dollars on websites that ultimately don't really drive traffic or don't drive revenue for your business. And I talk to people all the time that spend hours and hours, on social media, putting up posts, sharing content, interacting with people, and then they come back and say, "Well, I don't really see the business coming out of this. I hear it all the time." So I would say, are we misunderstanding the role that these things play? Could it be that these strategies, websites and social media, they're necessary, but maybe there's other components or other strategies in your business that influence or are contributing factors to the success of your business? So that's what we're going to get into. Our guest today, we have a featured guest today. Her name is Kelly Jennings. She is an Air Force Master Sergeant veteran who is now a transformational ministry coach. And Kelly was on the panel discussion last month when we were talking about remote work and culture of well-being. And so today we welcome Kelly back as our featured guest to talk about her journey and her experience with website and social media. And, I glossed over something before we get started, but stay tuned. We're going to no, I'm sorry. I can't skip ahead. I gotta share my screen up here. Give me 1 second. I said my name's Ryan, which it is. Unless you're new here and don't know that, my name is Ryan. But today you can call me Yanni. Yes, it is No Shave November, and I'm going to explain why I'm sporting a big old fat mustache. And most of you listening probably remember Yanni from back in the day, who apparently shaved his mustache, but Yep, I'm doing the No Shave November. What No Shave November is an awareness campaign that's done every year to raise awareness for men's health, for men's health, raise awareness for men's health. In fact, I have something I want to bring up to read from you that I didn't prepare. So give me 1 second, and then we're going to get started with today's show. So, did you know that in the USA, men die almost 6 years earlier than women, and for largely preventable reasons? 4 out of 5 suicides are men. Suicide is the second highest cause of death among men ages 15 to 44. It's quite an age range there. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. And testicular cancer is the most common cancer in young men in the USA. And so Movember is a charity, and they're changing the face of men's health. And so I've joined this month. I haven't done this in a while. And I chose to shave off the beard, sport the mustache, and my goal is to raise $500. And believe me, I want to get there because once I reach my goal, I'll be shaving off the mustache and starting from scratch. So whichever comes first, the end of November or $500. So you can text the keyword. I should put a call to action up there. See the scrolling ticker in the bottom? It says auto conversion to 855-766-7585. You can text the keyword Movember to 855-766-7585. That will be a pretty cool video that I made. Love for you to check it out. And then you'll get a link to this donation page here. If you want to make a $5 or a $10 donation, that'd go a long way. I know a lot of people hold out towards the end of the month, but as soon as you're able to put in $5 or $10, that'd be great. I really appreciate it, and your money's going to a great cause. All right, so we're ready to get started. We'll be back in just a moment with Kelly Jennings. Okay, Kelly. I fumbled a little bit in the beginning, got things out of order, but we made it here, and welcome back to B2B Hour.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's good to be here.
I admit I'm a little self-conscious wearing a mustache. It's not my natural look, and that's the whole point of doing it is to raise awareness. And so I did have to put that out there, and I meant to do that before we brought you on. But it's great to have you here. And you heard me talking about websites, and where I was going with this, it was framing in the sense of that maybe there's more to a success in marketing than just a website and social media. Um, and I put forth things like a business plan, a vision, a mission. What's the purpose? These are things I find are often lacking when people are talking about their website and marketing strategy. So I appreciate you coming on here so we can have a conversation about this. Just to kick things off, you are, just to give people some context, you're a retired Army Master Sergeant. What
Air
did you
Force,
do?
retired Air Force.
Air Force. I was thinking Air Force. How did I say Army? I was seeing Air Force in my mind.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. Tell us what you did in the Air Force that created the bridge for your transformational coaching now.
Well, in the Air Force, I joined right after high school and I culminated my career as a superintendent of personnel management, where I actually was there to coach people and I led a group of 8 to 200 people at times, deploying and training and developing. So when I retired from the military, that was just the kind of thing I moved into being a transformational coach, being able to help people to, transform their thinking, for one, transitioning them from military life to civilian life, and then really helping them to cultivate their purpose. As when we're in the military, we kind of get lost to the fact that we're just there to serve And once we get out, we're just trying to figure out what are we really called to do after the military. So that was something that just became a passion for me, is to help transform many people's thinking from their way they used to think into being who they should be in life and where they're called to be in purpose.
Just for clarification, the title that you carried in the Air Force was superintendent of what?
Personnel management.
What is that? What is like, what's your job function in that?
Yeah, so in the secular world, it's considered human resources. And so that's really what I had my associate's degree in, was human resources and personnel management. So it's more about people.
Okay. Okay. And, you know, when I think of human resources, say from a corporate level, I think of, you know, hiring and recruiting, enrolling new employees, policy, things I, like organization culture to an extent, obviously termination, retirement. That's what I think of. In your case, in the Air Force, what are we talking about? All the same stuff, or there's some less of some things and more? And you know, what are we actually talking about here?
Yeah, so in the Air Force, we didn't do a lot of the hiring because, of course, they recruited through the military process. Mainly, our job was training and development, and team development, and building teams and training leaders to become greater leaders. So we were in the position of management. We managed the office processes and followed according to the regulations of the military. But we were more people. We trained people, developed them, and promoted them, or ensured they were ready for promotion to the next level by our supervision and management over their careers.
Okay. And did you find, were you also doing a lot of therapy and counseling as well?
Oh, yes. When you join the military, it is a major age gap. Um, and so we got a lot of, when I came in the military, 5 or 10 years later, you're bringing in young students or young kids from straight out of high school, like I was. And so now you became pretty much their coach, helping them to cope with life, helping them to deal with that life transition from being from home straight into the military. So, yes, it was a lot of mentoring, a lot of leadership development, teaching them how to really be leaders and how to, do their job on a daily basis at the same time as coping with the pressure of military life, going to war, having to be already prepped for war. So it was a lot. It was a lot of dealing with people sometimes who weren't ready. And part of what my jobs was, sometimes I had to separate people because they weren't fit for military life. But one of the most important jobs I had was casualty assistance. Unfortunately, having to go and notice and notify people of a death of their loved one in the
Mm,
military. While it was painful to do, it was probably the most rewarding because I was able to help the surviving spouses to prepare for the burial of their loved one and help them with their benefits in the future.
okay. Yeah, that's intense and dramatic and very, yeah, like that really tugs at the heart to have to
Yeah.
um, that kind of role. So does the Air Force have specific techniques, practices that you have to embrace, or like can you give us an idea of the application of the support you're providing? I can't imagine it's just you listening and then just, you know, listening and providing, you know, some of your wonderful wisdom that you have. Is there an actual practices and disciplines that you have to implement in that position?
Well, the biggest thing is really military life is really about mindset. And when we go into basic training, we're kind of trained and conditioned on how we're supposed to think and act. So when people come to their first initial base, or the process is already in place, that we're just okay. You're supposed to show up at a certain time. You come in uniform. Your uniform is supposed to look a certain way, and then we help them. Well, I think the biggest misnomer is that we think military people have no problems. And so there are times when we do have to counsel them. We do have to correct their behavior. We do have to sometimes give them warnings of the necessary things they have to improve. And then we have to really question, why did you join the military? Because sometimes people did not join for the reasons that we feel the military represents. And we have to be able to say, what is your vision for your life? Where are you
Mhm.
going with your life? Do you want to make this a career? Or are you trying to just get 4 years out the way so you can stop having your parents on your back? So
Mhm.
the why and the vision for their life is what we start to hone into, because if they are saying I'm here for life, then we know how to develop them further. But if they're like, I'm only here for 4 years, then we know, okay, that's how much effort we'll put into their growth and development. So it's important to determine their vision for their career, because if they don't have a plan to stay in longer, then our efforts is not as strong as those who are like, I know my vision, I know where I'm going, I know what I want to do. I want to become a certain level in the military. So we know that's how we hone in to training and developing them.
And is that why you went into the military, or you knowingly went in to serve that function? Was that your vision for yourself going in?
Actually, no.
Mm.
To be honest, I didn't join the military first to defend my country. I went in because I needed a job. I wanted to get away from where I was living, and I knew the only way to get away was to join the military. But it was not until after I got in did I fall in love with the purpose of why I was in the military. And that's when I decided, hey, I need to change my attitude, and I have to change the direction I'm going if I really want to make this a career. Because my goal was to stay in for 20 years, of which I did do, but I didn't come in initially with that intent.
I know you have a ministry as part of your. I mean, it's part of your profession. Did you have ministry ambitions, I guess, or inspiration going into the military, or did that form while you were in there, or even after?
Yeah, no, I didn't have any ministry. I was, well, if we could call it, I was a heathen when I first came in the military. So I did, I found my ministry while I was in the military. And
Okay.
so that even changed the trajectory of what direction of the military. And I realized, everything wasn't about me wanting to defend my country anymore, but it is now me wanting to really help people and developing people in their call and their purpose in life. So the military started to become a less as important, and it started me thinking about what I wanted to do after I got out of the military. So
All right. And you were in the military 20 years.
yes, 21.
How long were you in the military before you started realizing that you had a greater calling, a greater purpose that was stewing while in there? Where in your military career were you?
Yeah, it was around my 7, 10 year point in the military that I realized, um, this is something I want to do, but it's not my life venture as far as
Okay.
being in the military. So I had to start changing even what I was doing and prepping for ministry. So military didn't take priority anymore.
Okay. Great. Well, this is good. Helps set the stage,
Yeah.
because it speaks to how you were, forming a vision and identifying your purpose,
Hmm.
and that's leading to where you are today. So what we're going to do, folks, is I'm going to play a quick mindset tip
Hmm.
for you. It's very quick, and then after that, we'll come back and we're going to transition our conversation here with Kelly to her website and her social media strategy. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Kelly Jennings.
Even
even before your plan, even before understanding your priorities and your focus, it's really developing that confidence to take action. I love what Mel Robbins shares about having that willingness to try. Confidence is another word that just gets thrown about these days. You know, I wish I was confident. I want to be as confident as then. I am a confident individual. But what if we kind of flip that perspective and look at it as a willingness to try? You know, in spite of fear, in spite of what the result might be. You know, there's that big cliche quote of, I'm either going to win or I'm going to learn. But really taking that and embodying that and knowing that no matter what the result is, I have the willingness to try. And especially if you're turning a side hustle into a full-time business, you need that willingness to try, that willingness to take action, that willingness to feel the fear, but do it anyway, as that amazing book by Susan Jeffries said. So I think absolutely confidence is key in life, but especially in business and becoming an entrepreneur. It's connecting to your inner potential, to your core confidence. Les Brown might say to the greatness you have inside. Joe Dispenza might say to the genius within. We all have different words for it, but essentially it's that inner potential and that inner power that everybody has. A lot of people doubt it, but everybody has that. So it's about connecting to that confidence from the core. So then it's about bringing that to your everyday life and carrying that thought of ignite the fire. You've got the experience, you've got the evidence, so it's much easier to show up when that fear does. For example, pressing live on a Facebook, having a sales conversation, whatever it might be. When that feeling of fear comes up, it's about making that conscious choice to take action anyway.
Okay, that was Harriet Bratt, and Harriet is a international speaker and trainer, and as you heard her say, a firewalk instructor.
Yeah.
She was talking about building confidence by seeking out opportunities to get out of the norm and get an opportunity of something that maybe gets you out of your comfort zone, because that's what gives you a chance to shine and excel and do your thing. So you can visit Harriet on the web. It's harrietbratt.com, HARRIETBRATT. And I'll take this moment now to explain something, because Kelly's here. And let me just pop something off here that I want to take off. Kelly's here, and Harriet both are on B2B Hour because they're participants in our Get Paid to Speak bootcamp and masterclass series. And if you are, let's say you're a book author or a public speaker, and you're looking to get paid top dollar for your speaking and build a speaking business, the Get Paid to Speak bootcamp and advanced series with Rob Holman is a great way to get access to the support that you need, the curriculum that you need. There's a blueprint there for success. And part of that process is focusing on your media and your PR strategy and getting up onto podcast and I guess you could say public speaking appearances like this. And so that's what we're doing here, is we arrange to bring our members up on stage to have these conversations, because you're just sharpening that sword. You're just honing in on that skill set of speaking publicly and simultaneously creating multimedia content that you can share out on the web. So that's what we're doing here. And if you're interested, go to autoconversion.net. You can see where I'm on the site. Look under GoPro, and you will see Get Paid to Speak. You can sign up free, get all the details. You can even participate with no risk or obligation. And when the time is right for you, you can purchase your upgrade and be a full member of the bootcamp and masterclass series. Okay, Kelly, what I want to do is I want to bring up your website.
Mm-hmm.
I have it right here, mymindculture.com.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about, because I know that you just launched this site, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just launched the site. Is this your first website you've launched?
It's not. I have a ministry website. My husband and I, as pastors of our church, we kind of developed our website as we went. So this is actually, I would say officially as my business website, this is probably my first one that I've actually put together and took time to get it. And even as you look at it, Ryan, it's still a work in progress.
Right?
It's one thing I've learned about developing websites is, one thing the military did was, it taught me how to be bold and confident, but it never taught me how to think of what to do afterwards. And so once I started realizing, hey, I want to motivate people, I want to cultivate people, I want to elevate their minds, I finally came to that conclusion after going through many renditions of what am I trying to do? What am I trying to say? What is the message I want to convey? Who am I? Because, being in the military, I knew I was a soldier. But after the military, I had to really put who I was on a virtual program such as a website.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted people to know who I was, but there could be so many things about us. To try to narrow that down has been a struggle for me. It has been really trying to say, I'm skilled in so many things. I've been experiencing all this. Now, how do I make people to know me for who I am?
Mm-hmm.
And just as I'm transitioning now into my speaking career, saying, okay, how do I cultivate that mindset into my website? How do I make people see me as a speaker, as a motivational speaker, as a transformational coach? So it's difficult when you jump ahead of preparing your vision.
It really is, because you have all this ideas, and they seem concrete in your mind, but I think they literally are abstract. And
Yeah.
you don't realize how spotty they are and how vague they are until you start putting them into something tangible. So
Yeah.
my question to you is, uh, along the process of getting your website launch that you just launched, where did you put those ideas? Did you use a Word doc, a Google doc, a PowerPoint slide, a notepad? Like, how did you put it all down on paper so you could kind of see it and work with your ideas?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I did not do it the traditional way. When I started doing my website, I literally started doing, and I really hired someone to do my website. So I started giving them, this is who I am, this is who I'm created to be, this is things. And then when they put together the first rendition, I was like, that's not what I want. That's not me. That's not what I'm
Mhm.
trying to convey. And we had to kind of go back to the drawing board, because as much as I've been taught as a trainer, as a developer, when it came to me, I didn't even take that process of brainstorming my website and really coming up with the ideas of what is my vision, what is my mission, what is my future? Do I just want to have a website, or do I want to have something that brings people into my world, but they can feel like they're a part of my world by saying, wow, when I watch your website, it just captured me. And you are the person that I want to work with. And I've had those experiences with other people's websites. So even when I look at mine, I said, it's not grabbing me, it's not drawing me in. And I had to realize it's because I didn't have a clear message. I was doing everything, ministry and business, talking about military. I was all over the place. And like I said, this is one of the best versions, but it's still a work in progress, because I have still a lot more to tweak to ensure it's conveying who I am and what I offer to people based on what I feel I'm the strongest at to give to my audience of people, which I finally kind of figured out who my audience was.
Yeah, that's super important. It's really quick, going back to your comment about you. It sounds like you hired a company or a person
Mhm.
to design your site. It sounds like they consulted with you and they came out and said, here's a first take. And I see this all the time, Kelly. I
Mhm.
don't know what I want, but I know I don't want that.
Yes.
And that that again goes back to, I would say, putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
When you I built many websites, and I typically start them on a like a Google Doc, and
Mhm.
I create what's called a prospectus, and I define, what we're doing, why we're doing it, who we're targeting, how we're going to do it, and then
Yeah.
I get into what it looks like, the menus, the copy on each page, and that's just the what would you say, the skeletal part of it. Then
Yeah.
there's the dressing and the visual aspect that has to be
Mhm.
accomplished. But if you start with the visual first, you don't really have all the whys and the what's defined. And so I've never used this analogy, but I like it now. I'm thinking of our skeletal system.
Mhm.
It's like we can't have a body with these beautiful eyes and this great
Right.
hair. We can't do it if we don't have the skeletal system.
Right.
It all does start there.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to take a quick moment to just put up a comment here. We have a visitor from China by the name of Red Eagle, and he says he's using a VPN to gain access to YouTube because the government has blocked it, and the same goes for other social media sites. So, Red Eagle, we're glad that you're able to be here. I hope this doesn't get you in trouble. I don't think it will. But I would love, Red Eagle, if you can, put in the live chat what interests you about today's subject, and also if you have anything to input. I should take this time to let folks know. I'll bring back my screen here. Uh, the B2B Hour is intended to be a live, recurring, networking event where you can come in and talk tips and best practices and meet great people like Kelly. And if you want to participate, we do this once a month. There's a lot of other stuff behind the scenes, but we do this once a month. Go to our website, and under shows, you'll see B2B Hour. Excuse me, and you can sign up here for free, and that will send you all the information that you need to get dialed in with the show on our YouTube channel, on our LinkedIn page. And if you want to be up here once in a while for an interview like we're doing today, or be on a panel discussion, or just chime in, uh, sign up. You'll get instructions on how to access StreamYard, which is basically we have to give you the link, but you got to go through the process first to sign up. So thank you, Red Eagle, for being here. And again, feel free to chime in on the live chat and let us know what interests you and maybe any input that you might have. Okay, Kelly, just going back real quick to your website, let's talk about time.
Mm.
How long ago did you think and say to yourself, I need a website you say, I mean, this looks to me like your coaching business, not so
Mhm.
much your public speaking business, but
Correct.
how long ago? Are we talking a few months ago, a year ago, or multi-years ago?
Well, actually, I actually started last year with an individual who put together a generic website that was just, this is what I do for everybody. I said, but I want my website to be unique. So I started back in February with this current website, and we slowly progressed um, uh, to the place where it's at now. And so when I started, and I started out just wanting my coaching and mentoring to be the key thing. But as I knew I was coming into my speaking, I said, wait a minute, nothing on here is showing that. And that's the whole thing, what you were saying about the brainstorming, really taking time. I think sometimes we get so anxious, we just want some visual up there. And I think that's the dangerous thing, to just be so anxious that to give someone a visual, because now you're putting out a confusing message, because that's really not who you want to be represented as, but you've placed something out there. And I think there should be a succinct process, and learning from what I've learned now. If anyone ever develops another website for me, I'm going to spend time with that person and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing, and give me a draft of what you're thinking. Because many times I think we just assume that individuals know what we want, but that's what we do to our clients. We give them a website and we assume they can read through all the other stuff to tell me how I can help you, but we didn't develop that vision. We never developed that, mission statement. We never really understood our core value. and I'm just a coach. Well, what kind of coach? Well, who are your people that you want to reach? What message do they listen to? What are the keywords that triggers them to make them want to be a part of what you're doing? And when we don't do that, if we get consumed into our own opinion about our website, not realizing we're literally building a website for our clients, not for us. And so are we really drawing them into wanting to do more business with you? Or is it just a good little video they watch? And you can watch your analyticals and see, oh, I get all these clicks, but nobody's purchasing anything. Nobody's buying anything. So, I'm at the point now where I look at my website and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to revamp that again, because you realize it's still not reading what I want. And I think it's okay if we have to keep going back saying, let's do this again. Because I think you really want to make sure you're conveying your message and you're satisfied that the people that come to your website are truly seeing you for what you offer and what you are and who you are. And it takes time to do that. Unfortunately, we're in this microwave society that we want everything right away. Just give me a website in 30 days. I just need something up.
Yeah.
Then we realize it's not satisfying the need that you have for yourself and for your clients. So
I have two things I want to comment on. Just got to adjust my microphone here.
mm-hmm.
There we go. I want to, believe it or not, Kelly, we're 40 minutes into this already. Remember I said 20, 30 minutes might do it, but look, like I'm actually just starting to get into what I really want to pick your brain about. So I want to get into a little Q&A here with you.
Okay.
All right? I'm going to ask you some questions and just try to get, real quick answers, because I want to segue into ROI and social media. Okay. But I want to build a bridge there. Before I start there, I just want to add a comment there, because what you were saying was really important, is that you started the site in February. So that's 7-8 months ago. And now it's up. You're comfortable to being up, but you're looking at it like, man, there's so much that's not presentative and right. And I tell people this all the time. A website is like a house.
Yeah.
When you get a house, you're almost never really ever done making that house your home. You just aren't. You might be there 25 years and you're still making it your home. And a website is really the same way. It's a virtual home, and it constantly needs to be maintained and updated so to reflect you, because we evolve and change too. So first thing I go at with people is, you want a website? Great. For the rest of your life, or for how long? Because it's like when people went in the military. Are you here for your 3 to 4 year contract? Are you here for a career? And that's really important with the website too.
Yeah.
So let me ask you some questions. Did you have a set fixed budget for your website when you started the project in February?
So set fixed budget. I was willing to pay what I thought was worthy of what I needed. I've done those, the inexpensive, I can get it done for you in 30 days. And you find out you get what you pay for.
Sure.
So I can't say I had a set fixed budget, but I was flexible to a certain amount. And what I wanted, I wanted the SEO, I wanted the e-commerce, I wanted all those things. So I was willing to go to a certain limit of my budget.
Are you comfortable sharing what that budget was for you, so we can have some contrast?
Yeah, my budget was actually $1,500, no more than $1,800. I actually negotiated a lot cheaper than that, but I was willing to go to that level.
Okay. Because there's different ways to approach the construction of a site. Some companies will say, hey, this is the price of it, or here's 3 different packages, here's what you get. It's a fixed price. And sometimes you can say, well, it's a base price, and then maybe some hourly fees. But okay, so you went into the project anticipating upwards to $2,000 spend, 1,500 to $2,000.
Uh-huh.
Can you maybe guesstimate, just doesn't have, obviously you didn't record it, but from the time you started till it went live, how many hours do you think you put into that, into the whole process?
My personal hours, I would say 10 to 20 hours as far as getting the content and developing the content and uh, trying to figure out what pictures I wanted, all that, because the developer did most of the work. So I can't really say how many hours, but we stayed in communication. It wasn't like it was like we drifted off and finally here's it is. We were communicating on a regular basis until I finally saw the first draft and I said, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
So
But
they
you
had
did have to put time. Like, it's not like you just, said, okay, here's the money, and then I'll see you in 6 months. Like, you had to put time into it. So let's just be really generous here and say you put 20 hours in over the
yeah,
course of 6 months. Is that
I would
20
say
hours?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, about that.
All right. So, I always look at, when I'm putting time into things, what's my time worth? What am I providing?
Right.
And I do put a different dollar value on that depending on what I'm providing, right? But in your estimate, I mean, 20 hours is worth a dollar amount too. So whether you think you're worth 500 an hour or 100 an hour, let's just say you think that time you put in is worth, because it's time you're not putting in somewhere else, right?
Correct.
That's how you have to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm putting time into here, not into here. What am I, what's the dollar amount I'm foregoing? So I mean, we're probably talking $2,000 to $5,000 worth of your time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
that now increases the value of your site.
Yeah.
So now we're at $5,000 to $7,000 for the value of your site, and you have to achieve an ROI to make that worth it. You have probably a low monthly cost for the hosting, um, and I don't know if you have a package or anything like that, but I'm asking this because I'm trying to really get into the conversation of ROI. Do
Yeah.
you feel, and maybe you have the metrics and maybe you don't, but do you feel that your website standalone is out the gate generating a viable ROI right out the gate? Yes or no?
I would say right now, I'd say no, not now, because I realized that the thing I lacked the most with my developer was clear communication. Really sitting down. Sometimes you assume because you've seen their work in others and you're like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize, yeah, but I need my personal why in there. I need all of that. And I think just the need to have to get something done right away, or feeling like I had, kind of really ignored all of that necessary communication and starting out the right way first. Because now that you have something out there, I don't necessarily give my link to everyone, because I'm like, it's not really where I want it to be. It's live, but it's not. It's not something that
about
I'm
it.
absolutely. So, yeah, I feel like right out the door, it may get me some revenue, but it won't get me a full ROI.
But you desire for it to. It's not like you want it up there as an expense, right?
Yeah,
It's meant to drive your business.
absolutely.
Do you feel like you have an idea of what needs to be modified or added or even removed to yield a better ROI?
Yeah, I think I just have to go back and clarify my vision and make sure that everything on that site is guiding me to the vision that I have for my audience of the people I want to reach. And because I want to become a speaker, I have to put you know, something out there to let people know you're a speaker. We have an example of your times that you were speaking. So adding all of those, but trying to also keep it where I'm not just singly one thing, but being diverse in ministry, being diverse in speaking, being diverse in coaching, how to keep that message succinctly where everything is complementing each other and not contrasting. That okay, she speaks about this, but now she's saying she's a transformation coach, right? So being able to not feel pressured. A lot of people want to guarantee we can get you a website in 45 days. And all that sounds good, but I wonder if that's really, really reasonable. Should we take 6 months to build a website where you sit down with someone who says, let's develop your vision first. Let's develop your why. Let's develop your purpose first. Let's make sure we have that all together so that when you get into that website, you're literally telling the story of your life through your vision. And now, hindsight 2020, I learned that from my errors now. And, sometimes we waste a lot of money because we won't do first things first. We don't take the first steps to slow it down. How bad do you need this? If you've been going without a website all this time, do you have to have something up right away versus putting something up that's not going to hit because you only have 30 seconds to impress someone? And if they come to your website and they don't get that, they may never come back. So
yeah, it is a catch 22 because most businesses, if I'm talking to somebody about doing business with them and they don't have a website, I could be turned off.
right.
Be like, you don't have a website, what am I doing here? By the same token, I could go to your website and be turned off as well.
Absolutely.
So there are risks and consequences for misrepresenting or not representing yourself. And there's no absolutes in this. Look, I always use my parents as an example. My mom and stepdad are mortgage brokers, and they serve one state. I thought they served just one county in the state, but I might be wrong. They might do the whole state. But that's their own mortgage brokerage. Their website looks like it's out of the 1970s. And I say that facetiously because it doesn't even look like it's out of the 90s. They don't use, really any social media, yet they have a thriving mortgage business. So it's proof in the pudding that you don't have to have a website and a social media strategy to have a business. It is proof in the pudding. But depending on your business and your product, you might have to. I can't imagine selling retail and not having a website today.
Yeah.
Kelly, we have less than 10 minutes. I'm going to play just a quick plug for our Jolt Business Vision program. And then I'd like to spend the last few minutes talking with you about social media and social ROI.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And folks, I'm going to play you a quick video of one of our lead coaches, Dr. Lance Knob, who's an affiliate partner with the Jolt Business Vision program that we run on auto conversion. I'm going to let you hear from Lance first, and I'll explain why you might want to sign up.
The origin really of this program is recognizing that over 90% of small business owners don't have a business plan in place, don't have a strategic plan. And, it's probably not coincidence that, 96% of small businesses fail in 10 years, that the numbers are pretty close. So I boiled down the most important parts of the process and also added what I believe to be a critical part of the process first, really introspecting inside yourself and deciding what's most important to the entrepreneur, like your personal mission, your cause, your reason, your why, whatever you want to call it, so that we can then go ahead and go through the company's cause and reason, and then really establish the entrepreneur's vision and, go through the most important steps like this.
Okay, that was Dr. Lance Knob, and talking about why he formed the Jolt. Well, he formed the Jolt Business Planning Program at the DenaliConsultingTeam.com. But last year, Lance and I partnered together to form Jolt Business Vision, which is a truly unique program that we offer here on Auto Conversion. And the whole idea is to better yourself and your business. Like Kelly and I are talking about here, you have to have clarity, purpose, vision. It might sound cliche, but so many people I talk with lack these, I would say, fundamental, essential components of your business. What's unique about Jolt Business Vision is that we provide resources to help you with the planning process, with defining your vision and your purpose, making committed actions, and having accountability. And like the Get Paid to Speak program that I mentioned, there's also a media and public relations component built into that. And so by participating in Jolt Business Vision, you're also able to implement some of these ideas and techniques into your media and your public relations strategy. So check it out. Go to autoconversion.net. Look under GoPro. You can sign up for free. Don't be afraid of the price. It says $195 a month. We're kind of revamping the program, but the important thing is that you get signed up for free and you can start receiving information about the program and even benefit from some aspects of the program as well. Okay, what I'd like to do is bring Kelly back, and we're going to just close out the conversation. We've been talking about her process of building a website, ROI of that website strategy, what was put into that. Segueing into social media for a few minutes here, Kelly.
Yeah.
Which social media, do you feel that social media is important, essential, or non-essential, or even a waste of time for businesses in general and specifically for you?
Well, yeah, because of the times, when I was in the military, the biggest social media we had was MySpace, I think it was. I might be dating myself. So, over time, social media has progressed. And I believe now, I think it's necessary. It's essential. We may say, I'm not going to use social media, but how else are you going to get the word out to such a vast audience of people without using some form of social media? But I think what we have to learn is which social media vehicle is best for you. And I think when you're trying to be on every social media site, it becomes overwhelming. You're trying to keep up with your postings, you're trying to schedule the media, the content, and you just realize that each site has a different purpose. Like if you're doing TikTok, you got to have time for videos. If you're doing Instagram, you got to have time for reels. And, so you have to make sure that you're willing to commit to the demand of that social media requirement. So I think it's necessary. I really do think it's necessary, but you really have to know where your audience is. If you're on TikTok and you're trying to get people in the ages of a certain age older, you may not find your audience on TikTok.
Sure.
So it's important. And I kind of want to put a plug in real quick though for Lance. And I got access to his template. And that template is what really helped me to realize I've got to work more on my website, because it really makes you think about what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, what is your vision, and being able to I had a little interaction with Lance, and it made you realize, wow, had I thought about this before, I may not have to go through the process of knowing which social media site I should be on and trying to pull away from the sites that you've been spinning your wheels on and you haven't been getting much return in that effort. So I really do think, the word business plan can sometimes carry a negative connotation, because you're thinking, oh God, I got to do this big business plan. But when you realize it doesn't have to be as big, because it should stay as a living structure that you're constantly going back, revamping and redeveloping as you go. As your business grows, so should your business plan.
Which social media sites do you use, Kelly?
I use Instagram. I do a little TikTok. I use Facebook. And I'm starting YouTube and getting back to LinkedIn, which to me, I think it's too much. I'm really trying to narrow down to just 1 to 2 uh, social medias that I'm going to start using to capture the audience of people that I'm trying to reach.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier. It's like, if you're trying to reach an older demographic, TikTok might not be a place to go. You can't
Mhm.
be everywhere at once. Some of the best advice I've ever heard given was many years ago when social media was kind of new and everyone was like, "Oh, what do I do?" And I
Mhm.
was a co-speaker for a webinar for a group of for a bunch of dealers, actually car dealers, and
Mhm.
the other speaker, that was his message. He
Mhm.
said, you don't have to be everywhere and incorporate all social media, but whatever you go into, you should do that well and master it, and
Yes.
be the best at that platform. And
Mhm.
that's really sage advice because, for instance, I this show here is patient. Uploading this video to TikTok would defeat the purpose of being TikTok, you
Right.
know? So
Right.
you have to repurpose content for the platform. And this leads into ROI. And folks, we're going
Mhm.
to go over a little bit longer than we normally do, just because
Mhm.
I think we're getting into some juicy subject matter here, but we will wrap this up in the next few minutes. Social media, because there's really no out-of-pocket cost to be on the platform unless you're running ads, of course. It's really the time that you put into it and making the content, coming up with the ideas. And if you do different social media networks, you effectively need to reproduce the content for that platform to an extent. Um, so how much time now, Kelly, just maybe averaging over the last, let's say, 90 days? How much time a day are you putting into your social media strategy? Not your website, but your social media strategy.
Well, daily, every now and then I may get a really good thought for video or reel, and I'll throw it out there. But my process for social media has helped me now is I actually do all of my little reels or my 10-minute videos. I try to do those all on my Fridays and Saturdays, and I just have them in draft mode and ready to hit and say publish this one. So I think when you're going to use social media, you have to have a process, which that has helped me. But there's times I get this off the cuff idea of some kind of content or something I want to talk about. And if I have time, I'll throw together a 3-minute reel and put it together. Um, so in a day on a Saturday, oof, I say it takes me, when I'm really consistent, it takes me less than a good hour, hour and a half to put together my reels or the content that I want to produce for the following week. So I think you need a system if you're going to be inundated with that, because you need time to do your business. And if you're only trying to develop content throughout the week, you never really can do your business because you're just trying to create something on the cuff. And sometimes it takes a little planning to know the message you want to convey for that week.
Now, when you say process or system, what is your system or process? Can you define it or
Or
explain it to
social
us?
media. Yeah. So I do it I don't do I do repurpose, but I have a system set up where whatever I post on Instagram goes into my Facebook page and vice versa. So it kind of prevents me from having to post on different sites at the same time. So my system is that I plan out my things throughout the weekend, and I sit down on an early Saturday morning and 3-minute video, I can do 10 of those in 30 minutes, and I have 3 reels of information. It only gets complicated when I'm making a larger video. If I'm trying to
Mhm.
do 10 or 15 minutes, then I really got to carve out some time to do that. And I've not done many 10 minutes in a while. So it's easier for me to sit down in 30 minutes. I can do 3-minute reels and hey, this is what I'm talking about. And it actually happens where it's conducive to whatever is happening in that week. That is like, wow, my message is kind of hitting And if your message is hitting based on your responses of your client, or not just your clients, but the people that follow
The
you.
network, sure.
So it helps to even gauge it that way, to use those for finding out if you're really hitting your target audience, or is the message you have resonating with the people you claim you have a message for.
Now, are you just using your phone to make these videos?
I do a lot on my phone. I do phone. You know, not no yeah, I don't want to put the name of the phone I used, but yes, I use my phone. It's a good camera, and I can get it done, because sometimes you can do a video on the run while you're,
Yeah.
in your passenger seat driving or walking, doing your exercise. There's so many ways you can really get that social media out there, but you just have to be consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing, you and I have talked about, is setting down that process that keeps you consistent to what you're doing.
So you said you're spending maybe an hour to an hour and a half making video reels on Fridays and Saturdays. I don't know if you meant an hour to an hour and a half on Friday and another hour to an hour and a half on Saturdays. But what about throughout during the week? Are you spending time interacting with people, doing other content? How much time? I'm trying to figure out how much time you're putting in maybe weekly on your social media presence alone.
Yeah, so throughout the week, I pay attention to my comments. I do go back and try to interact and say thank you, or hey, let's do it, kind of things to show that I'm interacting. What I don't do a lot is I don't give people a call to action, like, you know, sign up for a consultation with me, or, I sometimes I feel I'm doing more entertaining than I am business development.
Okay. And if you had to quantify the time you're putting into this weekly?
Weekly, a lot of time. I think I'm doing a lot of that more than I should. And I say maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. I'm just caught up in, because sometimes if I'm not disciplined, I'll get caught up with social media, where I start watching other videos and other people's content, and then I sidetrack myself.
Yeah. I mean, it can be kind of therapeutic. I have certain activities that I like to do depending on my mood and mindset or time of day.
Hmm.
Sometimes I like to go in and fine tune my sales pipeline.
Yeah,
I'm not in my sales pipeline every single day,
right.
um, or I don't necessarily clean it up every single day. It's like I might be in there on a daily basis for some little things, but maybe once a week or even once a month, I really go in and really clean up the pipeline a bit.
Hmm.
So, okay, you're thinking 5 to 10 hours per week total. Again, going back to your network, your value,
Yeah,
that's hundreds to thousands of dollars of week worth of time and
yeah.
energy. Do you feel that your efforts now, and I appreciate you being transparent, and vulnerable, if you will, do you feel that the time you put into your social media efforts are indeed returning a viable ROI that is projecting your business forward?
Well, it's kind of like you never give up. You got to keep plugging at it until you do see it. But I think I'm at the point now where not just investing in me and valuing my time, but maybe taking that and investing it in someone else who could do it for me. I don't know
Right.
if that's being lazy or not, but I think at a certain point we have to conclude that, if we're trying to save money or time, we may need to delegate that to someone else who does it, to the point that, you're paying a certain amount of money for people to handle that because they're good at what they do, and it becomes easy for them to do it versus you trying to keep up, especially if you're having all these social media that you're trying to keep up with. I think I'm more at the point now where I want to really start investing in others' expertise, to take some of the weight off of me for the work I need to do, because I want to write books, I want to start speaking, and I need to develop that skill set that takes me away from having to put too much effort and time in my social media.
Sure. It can add up real fast. A couple of years ago, I should know exactly when I did this, but I actually turned off Facebook and
Yeah.
Twitter for my businesses. And, you know, I have the business side of things and then the tech side of things. So I actually have 2 Facebooks, 2 Twitters, you know, that I was
Right.
using. And I just really looked at the time I was putting into it and the return on it. And I just thought, why don't I go without this for a little bit? And what would I do with that time?
Right.
And I never looked back. My business has only benefited from pulling off, but it's allowed me to get better at the platforms I'm using, such as LinkedIn and YouTube. Those are the platforms that I use. And I'll
Yes.
save this. I'm going to plant a seed for a future discussion, which is going to get into blog marketing
Oh, yeah.
and database marketing.
Oof.
So this will be a good bridge. And what I mean by database marketing, just to maybe whet your appetite a little bit, is when you use social media, you're actually tapping into their database.
Right.
Is what you're doing, especially if you're running ads. But you're actually tapping into their database. You don't actually own those connections in a digital ownership type of way. And that's where having a website and a blog and a subscription base to people to get into your database
Yes.
is super important. So we'll table that because we've exceeded our time. Can you believe it? We've been here over an hour talking about website.
Absolutely.
But I think you've touched on some great things. And if anything, folks, I hope you heard me say it. I hope you heard Kelly say it, is, things like website and social media, if you don't have your vision and clarity and your purpose defined, that could probably be an indicator as to why you might be realizing the ROI that you think you should. Any final comments, Kelly, you'd like to put in on today?
Now, this is really a good discussion and really opened my eyes to realize don't be afraid to start slow and to really get that vision down, because it saves you a lot of time and a lot of money, because you're probably spending quality money on things that when you haven't communicated your vision well, you've already committed to paying that money out. And now you're like, I got to go through this again to get it right. So take the time to get that vision set and know what you're trying to reach and who you're trying to reach first.
Excellent, Kelly. Thank you so much. That was well said. I always enjoy hearing you speak and speak your mind. You bring a lot of wisdom and passion and sincerity. It's really refreshing, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you. It was an awesome honor to be here.
Oh, good. So Kelly Jennings, everybody, you can visit her on the web at mymindculture.com and check out her new website, and be patient because she's, like she said, it's a work in progress and there's lots to do. But you can check it out at mymindculture.com. Kelly Jennings, everyone. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to let Kelly bump, and I'm just going to do a quick wrap up for today. Once again, one final reminder, this is No Shave November, and that's why I'm sporting this big mustache. I've set a goal to raise $500 for the Movember charity towards men's health awareness, and help me reach my goal, folks. The sooner I get to 500, the better. Go back to a clean shaven face and start all over again, and know that your money is going to a great cause. It's fun, and it's great for networking. It's great for men's health awareness as well. And I wish that I had brought that off while I was doing that. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for those that chimed in on the live chat. We had a visitor from China on a VPN. That was great. And if you want to get involved with the show, head on over to autoconversion.net. Look under shows. You'll see a link for B2B Hour. If you sign up there, that'll just basically send you all the information you need for getting involved with the show, whether you want to just tune in as a participant, set up an interview, be on a panel discussion, or maybe you have a client or friend that you'd like to have on the show as well. If you want to get dialed into our B2B marketing and sales strategies, look under sign up free, and there's B2B Marketing Pros, and you can do that. And just so you folks know, on our website, you can sign up for any program you want for free, and that'll just tag you in the system to start receiving information from that group. But once you're a subscriber, Every email you get has a link in it that you can update your preferences, and you can actually add and remove yourself from any of these groups that are available through your preferences on your email subscription. So you don't actually have to sign up every time. You can just sign up once, and then you can add and remove yourself. And when you add yourself, you'll get the information related to that program. That is a wrap for today. Again, I am Ryan Girardi here on B2B Hour. We do this once a month, and it's great to be here with you. Hope you got something out of it. This stream will become unlisted once it goes offline. So if you ever want access to our recordings, you need to be really subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that will get you access to the recordings. You can also text the keyword autoconversion to 855-766-7585, and we'll send you links to the shows, and you'll have them there on your phone. And look on our website if you want to become a premium member for a small fee. That'll give you access to our Slack workspace. And once you're in there, you have access to 100% of everything that we do, from all of our media, shows, podcasting, blogging, YouTubing, all is in there, and access to all of our coaching. That is a wrap for today. I'm Ryan Girardi. Have a great rest of the week and a great rest of your day. We are signing off.